for the gold. What can you learn from an Olympian? How's it going, Reinventors? I'm Amelia. This is Reinventing You. I would love for you to reinvent yourself so that you can live a life of joy, fulfillment, and purpose. And that's the reason for these weekly videos on Reinventing You. If you have not subscribed, please do so now. And if this is your first time, welcome. If you've been watching for a while, welcome back. Either way, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up. Now, I recently read an article on the internet, and it was from a website called developgoodhabits.com. The writer was S.J. Scott. This was back in October, and it was about things that we can learn from Olympians. And I think there was like 18, 19 things. There was a lot of things that we can learn from those who have won a gold, silver, or even bronze medal. You know, what do they do to reach their goals? And I thought and even though the article was about goal setting, I thought how helpful this would be for people who are trying to reinvent themselves. So whether you are like me and you've retired early, you quit your job, you've been trying to reinvent yourself for some time, or you're just starting out, I think that all of these things are something that we can learn and help us improve our reinventing process. What I did though is I didn't just go down the list, I kind of grouped them in different areas. So there are 4 main areas that I think Olympians have encapsulated or learned to do or learned to use to reach their goals. And the first one is just actually the goal itself. It's about the goal. So I want to put that as your reinventing parameter or reinventing dream. The second is the habits to get to that dream. The third thing is support, and the fourth thing is all about self-esteem. So I'm just going to start with the very first thing is that when you dream big. When you're an Olympic athlete, your dream is to get a gold medal. I mean, and that's a huge dream. Not a lot of people can do that. So when you are facing reinventing yourself, if you're thinking about reinventing yourself, dream big. Don't just say, I'm going to go to Tokyo, but I'm going to be in the Olympics and I'm going to get a gold medal, whatever it is. Don't just, I'm going to change my wardrobe, but I'm going to change my whole lifestyle. Those kinds of things. When you dream big when you're reinventing yourself. And when you are in the process of reinventing yourself, stay focused. Olympic medalists, they have always focused on their dream, and that is that gold medal. So when you dream big and then stay focused on that, that is what your goal is to reach that dream. And when you have a reinventing parameter or your reinventing dream or your reinventing goal, make it slightly out of reach. Like, is it really possible for me to get that? If a person is going for a gold medal and it's not, it's easy peasy, why? Why would you want to do that? That makes no sense. So make it just slightly out of reach. So you have got to do some self-improvement. You have got to do something to reach that dream. And the other thing you need to do is to review regularly. And I've talked about this before in some of my other videos. You really do have to go back and say, how am I doing? Sometimes you have to have a course correction, or sometimes you have to talking to yourself and say, okay, this is what I'm missing in my whole process of getting to reinvent myself, and this is the direction I need to be heading in. And don't forget to believe that nothing is impossible. And I think that's one reason why we have not lived our authentic lives and our authentic selves, and why we're trying to reinvent ourselves, is because we've kind of convinced ourselves that it's not possible to reach our dream. But when you're reinventing yourself, you have to repeat to yourself, nothing is impossible. So how do you get there? Olympic athletes are going to take their dreams and make them reality through action. The first thing is small wins. If you're going to win an Olympic medal, you don't start by making the Olympic team and getting a gold medal. You start by winning a small race. You start by, it's like somebody who becomes Miss America, for instance. You don't just enter the Miss America pageant. You have to win a local pageant, and then you have to go into a little bit larger pageant, and then you have to go to your state pageant, and then you're in the Miss America pageant. You have got to have those little action steps, those little things that you have to do, the small wins that you have to have in order to get there. So make sure when you are structuring your reinventing process that you're going to give yourself those small wins. And that means you're going to have measurable goals. An Olympic medalist is going to have certain metrics that they're following. They're going to say, okay, I need to improve myself in these areas. I need to get faster by this many seconds. I need to, be able to shave the time off of this particular thing, or I need to lift this much more weight. Those kinds of things. Everything is a measurable goal, so a measurable step, a metric, and that's what you have to do when you're reinventing yourself. How can I measure this next step, and how will I know when I got there, And when you break things down toward your reinventing goals, toward your reinventing process, you will find those small steps, and sometimes you have to break your small steps down to even smaller steps. Another thing you have to do in order to your action is you have to be consistent. You can't just one day say, okay, I'm going to, run, 5 miles, and the next day be a couch potato. You've got to have, every day you've got to do something. Every week you've got to do something. You've got to be consistent. And that leads me to the next thing, which is you have to start your day off right. You have to start your day with reaching those goals. Now, I have to say this is Monday when I'm recording this, but I have to say the last 2 Mondays have not been productive. One of them, which I had to take my husband to the doctor, another, I can't remember what the other Monday was like, but when I don't get my Mondays, when I don't start my week off correctly, I have a really hard time reaching goals and making sense of the whole week. I don't really get much done. It's the same thing with my day. If I don't start off doing certain things, like this morning, I've already made my bed, I've washed a load of clothes, I've vacuumed and dusted, cleaned windows, and it's only a little after 9 a.m. You have got to start your day off right every day in order to reach your goals, no matter what they are, and no matter what time you get up. However you start your day, be consistent and start it off right. And another thing, and I really debated about where to put this, is to use mind maps. Now, I have done a video on mind maps before, and it's been a while. I probably should find it and put it in the description. Oh, and by the way, I have this whole article in the descriptions below in case you're interested in reading that. But mind maps are a way to basically brainstorm and figure out how you get from point A to point B. And mind maps may not be the way you need to do it. Maybe you need to write your goals down on Post-it notes and put those up on a wall on our board and figure out how to get that using other Post-it notes. Maybe you just need to brainstorm, like put everything down in your head at once about your goals to reinvent yourself and write it all on one piece of paper and then go back and look at those. But whatever it is, you've got to constantly be thinking and figuring out, how do you get there? What's your map? What's your steps? Where's your journey going, and how are you going to get there? You have got to have the route all planned out. Which brings us to the next thing, is support. And that was one of the, in the article, that was one of the things just called support. And I have talked about this before. I've talked about having therapy. I've talked about having a 1-inch square piece of paper that lists the people that have really got your back, the people that you can go to advice for, the people that are going to support you no matter what, and they'll correct you if you're just taking a terribly wrong turn. I've talked about having a coach or a mentor, all of those things. And let me tell you, what Olympian does not have a coach? They all have a coach. So you have got to have somebody in your corner who's helping train you, who's helping, reach the next goal, who's correcting those things that you can't see in your progress. you have got to have that support. And another thing you have to have is encouragement. Olympians need encouragement. A lot of times they have their families, they have friends, they have other athletes who are constantly encouraging them. And not only that, they are on a team. I mean, you don't go to the Olympics as an individual. You are part of a team. You're coming from your country. Your country is, cheering you on. They are behind you 100%. You have sponsors. You have people, Olympians have, now they may not have individual sponsors, but if you ever see their uniforms and everything, they have, like Nike or I'm just, totally blanking on anything, but Gatorade, all those things are going to be on their uniforms or on their practice gear or their shoes. Everything they do, they're going to have that support. So you need that also in your reinventing journey. And that brings us to the very last thing, is that you've got to have that self-esteem. You have got to have that something in yourself that gets you through the tough times. You've got to have self-talk. One of the things the article pointed out is that Olympians not only correct themselves when they make mistakes, but they also cheer themselves on. They are their number one fan, and you've got to do the same. Olympians also visualize. When you have that dream that you are doing, you need to spend some time visualizing and meditating on that dream. In fact, I'm probably going to do in the next couple of videos a meditation video to help you with that process. How do you visualize what it's going to look like being a reinventing you? How are you going to look like? How are you going to feel? What's it going to be like? You have got to spend time visualizing that, exactly like an Olympian does. Another thing Olympians do is they keep it fun. I mean, Olympians, they're tough and they're under a lot of pressure. If they don't keep it fun, then what is the point? And the same thing with reinventing yourself. If it's not fun, if you're not enjoying it, why are you doing it in the first place? So you've got to learn to keep it fun, and that really does help your self-esteem. And you've got to have positive thinking. You can't, I've talked about this before in terms of failure. Yes, you're going to fail, but then learn from that and pep yourself up to the next thing. You can do it. You've got this big dream. You can make it. You want to get an Olympic medal? You can do it. Keep thinking positive thoughts. Don't say, oh, I'm never going to be, you have got to continue to have the positive thinking and the positive mindset. And plan for the unexpected. Like I said, you're going to have failures. Things are going to happen. But if you plan ahead, it's not going to be the end of the world. If you plan ahead, it's just simply a learning. That's a learning. A step for learning. It's simply a learning process. You've got to know, okay, that didn't work. What can I do next? Go back to your mind mapping. Go back to your dreaming. Go back to reviewing the whole process. You can do it. If you've got that positive thinking and that visualization and dreaming big and you've got that support, you can do it. I believe in you. Now, you may not have a goal of being Olympic gold medalist, but you can still reinvent yourself. If you found one of these ways that Olympians use to reach their goals helpful for your reinventing process, in the comments below, let me know which one or which ones it was. This is Amelia. Thank you for watching Reinventing You. Have a great one. What can you learn from... Go for the goal. Gold. Where you could go for the gold. Go for the gold. What can you learn from